final score.
Welcome to the final installment of our position preview series, ending with a position that I'd say, EA, a lot of Jets fans have their eyes on. That's wide receiver. So let's go to Ohio State because they have a pair of projected first-round guys. Let's start with Garrett Wilson. Tremendous speed, also tremendous body control.
I like Wilson's position flexibility. In 2020, he was lining up primarily in the slot. Then he moves outside. Quality route runner, plays bigger than his size. And then you look at the production, it got better each year in Columbus. Last season, 70 catches and 12 touchdowns. This guy was getting into the end zone, a great athlete. And how about that combination with him and Chris Olave? Olave, of course, ran 4.26 in the pre-draft process, and he's a big-time vertical threat. Both those guys are going to go in the first round.
And both those guys were officially clocked in Indianapolis with 4.3 speed. But let's head out west, right? USC's Drake London, a big-bodied receiver. His basketball background really shows on the field.
Not many guys can say they were recruited by Division I schools in both basketball and football, but Drake London was. He, in fact, went on the hardwood at USC. A quality pass catcher who's always open, meaning that he's so rangy, so long that quarterbacks are going to take a chance on him, even if a defensive back is draped all around him. 88 catches last season, 7 touchdowns. He's going to be a red zone threat. And the other thing that I like about London potentially is he can help your run game because he's not afraid to bang on the outside.
Also, you take a look at these numbers here. Only through 8 games was he able to do this. Then he got hurt. He did participate in his pro day, did all position drills. Seems like he's at full health entering the draft. So let's say Drake London has the big body. Garrett Wilson's got the route running. Who's got the speed? That's Jamison Williams out of Alabama, an outstanding player. The question here, EA, is what's his health because he did tear his ACL in the national championship.
How good a receiving unit did Ohio State have in 2020 with Olave, Wilson, and Jamison Williams? Now, Jamison, he transfers to Alabama, and the former track star who had 15 catches in 2 seasons at Ohio State exploded under Nick Saban. 79 catches, nearly 1,600 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. He averaged nearly 20 yards per catch. You're right, the medical is the big piece here, but he is one of the top players in this draft. Don't be surprised if he goes very early.
Also, it's a real shame we didn't get to see him run at the Combine because I know a lot of fans really had their eyes on that. After these guys and Olave and somebody like Traylon Burks who are also projected in the first round, then you get a group of guys like maybe in the first round, maybe in the second round. Elijah Moore was in that category last year. Obviously, he slipped to the second round. Another guy who's in that category this year is Penn State's Jahan Dotson. And for more on him, let's hear from Caroline.
Let me take you back to November 9th, 2019, a date that has haunted Penn State wide receiver Jahan Dotson for the last 3 years. Minnesota was leading Penn State 31-26 with just over 2 minutes left in the game. Dotson caught a pass, turned upfield, thinking he was about to score the game-winning touchdown, but instead, he came up 11 yards short when he was caught from behind. From that day forward, Dotson vowed to never let it happen again. He got stronger and faster and was clocked at running a 4.33 40-yard dash in the offseason. By his senior year, he led the Nittany Lions with 1,182 receiving yards. Dotson also finished his career second in school history in catches and touchdown grabs. So if teams want someone who is motivated by a fear of failure and never wanting to let their team down, that's exactly what they're going to get in Jahan Dotson.
Just a great story about Jahan Dotson. I remember listening to him at the Combine thinking, this guy's got a real mature, professional way about him. He did clock an official 4.43, but I just want it to be known, that's not slow. Guys like Jerry Jeudy ran in the 4.4, Stephon Diggs, just to name a couple, and even though, guys like Garrett Wilson were in the 4.3s, it's not slow, right?
Dotson was running away from people where he was especially effective after the catch. Like, yeah, maybe he doesn't have 4.2 speed, but listen, he was dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he also had quality hands. So when the ball was in his area, he brought it down, and then it was off to the races.
Also, Dane Brugler of The Athletic says that he's got the biggest catch radius potentially of the bunch, which is kind of counterintuitive when you think about his size. All right, another guy in that round 1, round 2 category, someone the Jets coached at the Senior Bowl, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. He's had a fantastic pre-draft process.
He's got some freaky physical traits, right? Because he's big, he's long, and he also can run. Averaged 20.4 yards per catch in his college career. Former 2-star recruit out of high school who became just the 8th player in school history to reach 2,000 receiving yards.
All right, somebody that's been very productive. Not necessarily a round 2 pick, but probably a day 2 pick. That's David Bell out of Purdue. Extremely productive, but maybe not have the same testing numbers as some of these other guys.
Yeah, but strong hands, smooth player, and you talk about the production. Finished 4th in Purdue history in terms of receptions, 5th in receiving yards, and 5th in receiving touchdowns. The numbers that stand out to me, though, more than anything, 17 100-yard receiving games in 29 career games on Saturdays. Now, he's not going to go in the first round probably. He could be a 2nd or 3rd round target, but it's hard to look at this guy and say he's not going to be successful on the next level because he constantly got it done.
Well, the Jets have 4 picks in the top 38. One of them, I think you could say, you could definitely make the argument that one of them at least is going to be used on a receiver. So we took to Twitter because there are a lot of receivers mocked to the Jets at pick number 10. So, Caroline, which projected first-round receiver did Jets fans want in green and white?
I keep saying every week, I feel like that the poll surprised me, but this one really did. Jamison Williams took this one far and away with 59%. It wasn't even close. Garrett Wilson was the next highest with 23%. But this one really took me by surprise. I really thought Garrett Wilson might have been at the top of people's lists with all the mock drafts.
Jamison Williams, 59%. I'm surprised at the discrepancy, but you think about what the Jets wanted in Tyreek Hill, didn't land him. Jamison Williams brings the speed for sure.
Yeah, you want somebody to be able to beat man coverage, and Jamison Williams can do just that. The Jets are very comfortable with what they have at the receiver position. Elijah Moore last season, 5 touchdowns in 11 games. Corey Davis was on pace for 1,000 yards, but he battled injuries. You got Braxton Berrios back in the mix, but the more pieces around Zach Wilson, the more he can accelerate his development. And if you get a game changer at that position, it would make sense for the green and white.
That's how we conclude the draft position preview series. For more coverage, stay right here on NewYorkJets.com.